Welcome to Q6 at Q Station in Sydney, Australia. I am James Duderian, Director of the Centre for International Security Studies at the University of Sydney, and your host for the annual Project Q Symposium, Quantum Metaphysics, Heuristics, Aesthetics, and Ethics.
It's the unbridled potential of quantum that is so intriguing, I think. And the fact that, you know, we can hypothesize what quantum's going to do, but in many respects we don't quite know still. And even when you look at the kind of investment patterns in quantum, it's almost, you know, hedging money in a way of, well, we don't quite know what the results would be, but we know they're significant. Therefore, it's worth the billions of dollars that are now being poured in. And you see that from certain governments and certainly from venture capitalists.
Warm greetings from New Delhi, India. We are excited to be working with our partners at the University of Sydney on a meta-ethics project on quantum, and we are delighted to be able to participate in this very important conversation that deals with perhaps one of the most important technology questions of our times. How will quantum technologies change the way we engage with business, with society, and with each other? What are the benefits that quantum technologies could deliver? And what are the challenges that will accompany the quantum revolution?
Quantum technologies are quickly moving from fictional ideas to actionable realities with real-world implications. Applications such as quantum communication, quantum computing, and quantum internet, they all have the potential to change the way we live our lives. So there are enormous benefits, but there could also be risks. To me, a bigger aspect, especially from an ethical perspective, is quantum divide. The gap between those who can and are able to benefit from the quantum technologies and those who are not. Narrowing down or closing the quantum divide will include efforts at quantum and other emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, robotics, how they can help societies and how this access can be made to larger sections of the global society.
The question becomes, you know, what are the very tangible areas where you can imagine, whether it is India or whether it's a coalition of countries, stepping up and enabling this broader leapfrogging so that these technologies have, you know, a very positive impact?
Are there genuinely new responsibility and ethical questions that are you know, rise to the surface because of quantum information theoretic or quantum information technology advances that are different than, you know, simply say increasing the speed of a computation, the efficiency in which it's done? You know, does physically guaranteed security around quantum key distribution? You know, obviously it's different fundamentally than informationally theoretic guaranteed security that we run on now, but does it change the discourse around security?
I think what's interesting here is that we are very much working between the values of the practical and the symbolic. And there is enormous symbolic power in quantum, regardless of whether it actually does anything at the practical level or not. And here I would turn to history. And certainly we've seen this play out before. We could go back to the Cold War history around computation that Paul Edwards writes about beautifully in The Closed World, where, of course, it was about the history of American global power and articulating artificial intelligence then as a way of really rhetorically taking the center position as having an offset that nobody else would have. And again, we've seen the offsets move over time, and certainly quantum could be positioned in some ways as the fourth offset.
What if every university institute had a sister institute, and every quantum technology company had a sister company, you know, and not just in a kind of symbolic exchange, ritualistic way, but actually structured so that their fates, their economic fates, were bound together. You know, these kind of a sort of metaphoric entanglement of institutions. And I think there's still ideas in the Cold War period of these efforts to tunnel through that we can tap.
I do think that after bushfires in 2019, the pandemic of 2021, you know, we've been through the fire. And as I said before, you know, the light that came up through the cracks was science. You know, I don't want to fetishize science, but, you know, we have to give also credit to the people who've, you know, mitigated a lot of the worst of COVID and also have helped bring about the vaccines and We're looking to science to help us through the next stage. But we are in an interpandemic. We are in a moment of climate change. We are facing global crises, and it's a wake-up call. And we're paying attention to it, and we're listening to it. And we're going to carry on with this project thanks to DFAT and the Sydney Quantum Academy and the Carnegie Corporation of New York and the University of Sydney and all the other good folks out there who are making these kind of long bets. So thank you all. Be safe, be well, be kind, and over and out.